Heading into Denver on the second night of a back-to-back, the San Antonio Spurs had a tough night on Saturday where they ended up losing the game by 25 points. How's it going, everyone? It's Paul Garcia, Project Spurs. Let's go ahead and jump into a quick recap of this game. Because it was a blowout, we're not going to spend too much time going into stats and things like that and real deep analysis of this game. So as you can see here, the story of the game, it was competitive for about 6 minutes, and then Denver got their first double-digit lead there in the first quarter. They actually went up by 16 points, but by the time the first quarter was over, it was Denver by 13. Then, as you can just see there, 21 points midway through the second. They're up at halftime at 19. Third quarter, they're up by 25. They get they're up by 23 going into at the end of the third, and then it's pretty much over there in the fourth. They held those 20 plus point leads. So yes, this is a very again the Spurs were on the second night of back to back. It was a tough night for them. They're on the road in Denver, and so the results show, just as you see there, that Denver was we'll show here in a bit here that Denver was just had a really good night shooting the basketball, and San Antonio's defense really struggled, especially that first half where Denver ended up with 70 points at halftime. All right, let's keep going. All right, so your leading scorers, Keldon Johnson ends up being the leading scorer for the Spurs, 25 points. Devin Vassell off the bench again. He's on that minutes restriction with 20 points, and then Jakob Poeltl, 14 points, most of those in the first half. For Denver, multiple players got over 10 points. Bones Highland was their leading scorer at 24. Then you got Jokic, 21, etc. You could, again, Denver won every area of the floor except the free throw line, which is where the Spurs won. But again, it wasn't enough for San Antonio, as they ended up losing by 25. These are your leading players from the box score stats. So the Spurs' top four players in this game, or top five players, were Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Jakob Poeltl, Trey Jones, and Isaiah Roby. Had a good game, but again, it was a blowout. And then you just see here, it's tough for San Antonio to be on the second out of back-to-back, and they really couldn't do much defensively. Denver shot 61% from the floor, 52% from three, 62% from mid-range, 67% in the paint. The only place that they were terrible, pretty much terrible at shooting was the free throw line, which is where they shot 50%, but they only took 10 attempts there. And for the Spurs, they attacked the paint. They finished well, 61%, and then they shot the three. They made 40%, but again, it wasn't enough when defensively they just couldn't stop Denver. And then, Denver ends up winning there by 25. And again, look at the shooting percentages there for Denver across the board. Some notable records for the Spurs is that they are still having a tough time, coming back from double-digit deficits. They're now 0-5 when trailing by double digits, and then they're now 0-4 when losing the three-point line. So those are two notable records. And up next, the Spurs are off on Sunday, and then next week they have 3 games. On Monday, they can see if they can get revenge against Denver. So Denver's coming to San Antonio, so that'll be on Monday. Then on Wednesday, the Spurs are hosting the Memphis Grizzlies, and then on Friday they are hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. So again, schedule doesn't get any easier for San Antonio. They're playing three teams that all have winning records and that are toward the top of their conferences. So for Project Spurs, I am Paul Garcia.